Hello and welcome to week 2 of our 22-week series on how to prepare your business for sale, including how to improve its valuation. So last week we covered the basics of SWOT analysis and looking at the strengths and weaknesses of your operations, your finance, your people and your customers, and looked at what things you could do to improve those. So this week we're actually moving on to looking at market analysis and where you should position your business. So we're going to cover 5 areas today, and the first one is the essential that you need to do, which is to look at your competitive landscape. How well do you actually know your customer? I ask this from every company I work with, and generally it's only at a surface level. You need to really dive a little bit deeper in there. So first of all, you can work with your team and say, who are we directly competing against? And then who are we indirectly competing against? So for example, if you had a business that was selling pizzas, your direct customers, your direct competitors might be another pizza hut, whether that was a delivery service or a restaurant. And your indirect competitors could be people who are also doing fast food, but not pizzas, so like a curry, or particularly where else customers might be getting fed. So that would be the supermarket, for example. So make sure you create an Excel spreadsheet and you put down all your competitors and really think about who your direct and indirect ones are. Then you want to create a couple of columns, one for strengths and one for weaknesses. So ask your team, get as many people as possible involved. And if you are, for example, comparing another pizza place, what do they do better than you and what do they do not as well? Be crystal clear on this and really dive deep. Finally, you want to have a column about their pricing. Now, it depends on what products and services you sell. Sometimes companies are quite secretive about what their pricing is, so you need to be put in an investigative hat on. So for example, in veterinary, the top 10 selling products and services have to be listed with their pricing. But when your dog's got an earache, that's not on the pricing list. So it's really good to look at some of the key products or services that you're selling and getting somebody, it might be a family or friend, as well as somebody in your business, to just ring up and pretend you're a customer and find out the pricing. Really important that you get this down. And then you can understand where you are in the market in terms of your pricing. Are you mid-range? Are you one of the more expensive, or are you the cheaper? Because that really helps when we move on to looking at your unique selling point. According to the FSB in 2022, 60% of businesses saw competitors as their #1 challenge to grow in. So it's really important that you understand this really clearly. So next thing, we want to look at the unique selling proposition. And with the hundreds of businesses I've worked with, this is one thing that a lot of companies are still not crystal clear on. You really need to think about what sets your business apart. After all, according to the FSB, 42% of companies think that the competitors are the issue, and the competitive advantage is what keeps them ahead. So your competitive advantage is based out of your unique selling proposition. What do you do differently and better than your competitors? The best way to go around this is actually look at your customer. So it's not about the features of your product or service, but the benefits that they deliver to the individuals or the groups of people that are buying them. Really tune that down and think about it from your business. You need to make sure that your USP is clear and compelling, whether that's driven out of the way it's priced, the quality of the product, its environmental sustainability. Just be crystal clear on that. So for example, if you were a coffee shop in Brighton, you'd be wanting to look at your competitors to see what their unique selling point was. You'd look at the main companies like Starbucks and Costa. You'd also look at the independents and see where they were different. And then you could compare and see what unique selling point was over there. It might be the kind of music or the ambience that you create. It might be the pricing of your coffees, or it might be that you do an amazing a range of cakes, but just be really clear on that. The other example I can think of is a cleaning business. So cleaning business is a ten a penny. What actually would set your cleaning business apart? Is it because you use environmentally sustainable products? Because that's obviously something that could set you apart from your competitors. The third of the 5 things that you need to do is really understand what the trends are within your industry and your growth potential. This is the one thing that's going to really set you apart when you go to sell your business. People who are buying businesses really want to know that not only are they they're buying a really great company with a good customer base and a good profitability, but that they've got a huge opportunity to grow it. So you really need to research current trends in your industry and things that are emerging. It's one of the most important impacts on valuation. So really important that you do this. Then you have to identify any potential growth areas in your sector. So any changes in technology, for example, or any new starters that are doing a completely different way about approaching things. Finally, bring this all together and consider how these trends might impact on your business. Are you an innovative business and are you staying ahead of these trends? Or are you falling behind, which will mean that ultimately your market share is going to drop? So, for example, if you've got a tech company, we all know that AI is the trend at the moment. Are you ready for this? Have you found a way of integrating AI into your technology, and are you marketing that as a selling point? The fourth out of the 5 areas that you have to look at when you look at your market position is the market share. So you need to be able to estimate your current share, which is sometimes easier said than done. The best way to go about this is to actually look at industry reports that you'll have. And the industry reports will give you a good indication of what your current share is. Hi, Steve. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
We're just we're quite a way through now. We're on the 4th area, but we'll have chance for questions at the end, and we're recording, so you'll be able to see the recording.
Okay.
So the next thing that we want to do is analyze your position relative to your competitors. Because after all, you want to be able to take the competitor's share. So you need to see who's ahead of you and be really clear on that. And then think about all the opportunities that you have to increase your market share, which might be getting new and different customers who haven't bought your type of product or service before, but also very likely to be potentially business that you could take from your competitors. But as I say, your valuation of your business is really tied into this. If you can demonstrate that you're really crystal clear on these things and you're putting those into your strategic planning, then it means that your company will be more valuable and it will be easier to sell. So, for example, if you had a family-owned business in Glasgow selling, which is a bakery, and you were selling artisanal bread, then you could look at everyone around you and think, right, I do much better than the supermarkets because of the products we do and the fact that it's baked by hand, and you can use that to position yourself as a premium. So be crystal clear on your competitors, their USP, and see where you are positioned in the market and how you can capitalize on that. The 5th and final area when you're actually looking to strengthen your market position is about analysing customer demographics and preferences. I find majority of the companies I work with don't understand their customers well enough. And my question I'd ask you is, how often are you asking your customers for feedback? Feedback about what they think is good about your product or service, about the pricing, etc., and actually putting that into place. So one of the companies I worked with, we did an excellent thing, which was you said we did, which is saying we sent out a customer survey. We looked at where things could be improved in this care business. We made the improvements and then we told them. So they saw the changes and then we reinforced that by telling them about the changes. You also want to understand their buying habits and preferences. So have you got a product or service that people buy just when they get paid, normally at the end or the beginning of the month? Or do you have something that's just seasonal? but really understand where they are. And so it will help you shape your innovation on your products and services to fit gaps where they're possibly not buying. It's also really important, particularly in retail, about impulse and add-on purchases. So when I do a customer analysis of the companies I'm working with, I do a grid of all of the customers down on the list, and then across on the columns, each of the products and services that that business offers. I tick a box when each of them overlap. And you'd be amazed that you can actually increase your sales by about 50% by selling more of your product to the same customers that you have. The last one on there is about making sure that you tailor the information, tailor your offerings to the information that you get. So it's acting what you're told by your customers. So I worked with an online retailer in Birmingham, and they did a customer survey, and they found from the customer survey that their customer base was very, very environmentally sustainable. So they changed their product range and made sure that they were using natural products, they were using recyclable products. And they also then worked in conjunction with a charity that meant that there was a route to, they would give discounts for people who were bringing back clothes that they no longer wanted or needed. So the charity was benefiting and the customers were getting money off. Their sales went up massively. So those are the 5 areas to consider. You might be intrigued about what else you can do to improve the valuation of your business, because ultimately, whether you're selling your business now, in 2 years' time, or you're not even worried about selling it for another 10 years, doing all these things are really fundamental to driving up the quality of your customers, their attention, and the motivation of your team as well. So you might want to consider joining the Sales Success Circle. This is a little membership group that we've set up. We've got a free entry level, and then there's 2 levels above, which are more premium. And ultimately, we create a community of like-minded people, and they talk to each other and share their problems and the opportunities, and also their wins. So it gives you an opportunity to get the tools and knowledge to analyze your competitive landscape, do things like articulate your USP, as we've talked about today, and assess industry trends. The great thing is your membership also gives you access to a lot of these market information. So it's something to consider, and we'll send you more information and a link should you be interested in finding out more. So that was the 5 for today, all about your business and its position in the market. Do I have any questions from anyone? Chi, I think there was one in yes. Okay, thank you. So there's one that's popped up about and this is a question I get all the time, is how long in advance of selling your business should you start to do these preparations? And my first question, my first answer to that is actually you should start about thinking about selling your business on the day that you set it up, because you should set it up and develop the whole structure based on how easy it will be and how much valuable it will be when you actually ultimately come to sell it. That's a simple question, but ultimately, I think if your business is established and you haven't really thought about selling it before, 12 to 18 months is about the right sort of time to set aside to do this. This gives you enough time to have a comprehensive analysis of your business and collect the right data. The worst thing about selling your business is the amount of data that you have to accumulate and put together in a data room for the due diligence for the person who's buying your business. But the better and smarter you can be with collecting and storing that information and having it really structured, the more valuable your business will be, because ultimately your buyer will look at it and say, this is an absolutely fantastic business, it's so well organized. So the data is the one thing to think about doing now and really keeping up to speed, up to date with, particularly with your accountants once a quarter. Then the other thing that's really key for you to do now, whether you're selling your business now or a year down the line, is to identify the weaknesses of your business. So where you're not doing so well against your competitor, and more particularly, it gives you time to then think about where your opportunities are for growth. And then ultimately the last 6 months, I think, are on implementing those changes. So you've identified where your company can be better, where you can add value, and it's putting all those changes in place. So it's never too early to start to prepare your business to sell. I have been able to sell, get a business improved and sell it within 6 months. So that's really is possible, but it's really hard work. But all these preparations and things that we're talking through today are about improving the value of your business now, including your sales and profit. So I definitely say go ahead and try and do it now, and make sure you start working on your data. I hope that's answered that question. I see there's another question. Oh, I see. Follow up from that. Okay. So what tools to use? Well, there's 1,001 tools that are out there at the moment, and with AI coming along, we've seen a great uplift on them. I use some new AI tools, but I'm finding a lot of the tools that I've always used are using AI anyway. So if we run through them quickly, let's think about the customer survey. So if you're wanting to do a customer survey, you can do that as a simple form, send it out to your customers. But the quicker and more effective way of doing it is using a tool such as SurveyMonkey. And you can actually use that tool for free, unless you're doing hundreds and hundreds of emails out. You just got to really think about the top questions to ask your customer about the products and services you offer, how happy they are with the customer service. And the best way to do that now is you can actually use tools such as ChatGPT and Claude to come up the initial start of a 10 on no more than 20 questions to ask them. Customers normally get turned off if it's more than 10 questions, so try to stick to that, and the AI will actually help you form those questions, and then you can use SurveyMonkey and also Google Teams, which can compile all that data and give you some really good information back. Social media is key at the moment, so you want to do what we call social media listening as well, to be able to understand what your customers are thinking about you and your competitors. You can use things like Sprout Sound or Hootsuite. They're both really useful tools, and you can just put in your industry or key competitors and find out more about that. The next one is Google Analytics, which is great if you're wanting to find out more about your brand presence and what people think about your brand. And then the other tools I suggest is, if you're finding out about your market, it would be your industry reports. And so you can use Google to find those. I'm trying to think, the two other things we covered today were about competitor analysis. So a really useful tool to that, which is using a lot of AI now as well, is SEMrush. If you just put that into Google, you can really use that to find out more about your competitors that you wouldn't readily have access to. And finally, it's really good when you're looking for market information to use some of your local networking groups. So that might be CMI, that might be Entrepreneur Circle. They've all got amazing information that's really useful to you. So I hope that's answered that question. Any more questions from anyone? G, is there anyone else who's asking questions? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for dialing in today. If there's no more questions, I look forward to seeing you all next week. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to review risk analysis of your business and assess where the risks are, because this is another thing that comes up in due diligence. You really want to understand what the potential for your business is in the future. So I hope you can all join me at midday next Friday. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.
How many people are watching?